Looking at our world from a theological perspective. This is the Theology Central Podcast, making theology central.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is Sunday, August the 21st, 2022. It is currently 4:04 p.m. Central Time, and I'm coming to you live from the Theology Central Studios, located right here in Abilene, Texas. And I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready. Now, I gave everyone the opportunity. I asked everyone as we were working through the Bible study methods, I was asking everyone, hey, here is your choice of books. Which one do you want to study? And I was met with an overwhelming, resounding silence. Now, I didn't give people a lot of opportunity. I didn't give people a lot of time, but I was sitting here today going, you know what? I'm going to make the decision. I'm going to turn on the microphone. I'm going to go live, and I'm going to introduce our new study, and I'm choosing the book. So now you only had a few to choose from anyway, so you didn't really have a lot of options. But today I'm choosing the book. Today, I'm going to give you your first assignment. I'm going to explain what we're going to do. I'm going to try to map out how this study is going to work. And I hope you are ready. I hope you are excited because we have a lot to do. All right. So before we do anything else, let me just remind you that there are a number of episodes under the series Bible Study Exercise dealing with Bible study methods. In fact, if I go and look at the series right now, if I can find it, here it is. I've been updating series all day. Bible Study Exercise series. You'll notice that you see the Best Bible Study Method Part 6, the Best Bible Study Method Part 5, the Best Bible Study Method Part 4, the Best Bible Study Method Part 3, the Best Bible Study Method Part 2, and the Best Bible Study Method Part 1. And those 6 parts, we put together what I believe is the most comprehensive Bible study method you're going to find. And it's the most comprehensive Bible study method as far as studying one book of the Bible. So we can call it the most comprehensive book Bible study method ever put together. Now, maybe we're playing a little bit, we're playing that up a little bit, obviously using a little bit of hyperbole there, but we do believe it's a very comprehensive Bible study method. And we believe that if you utilize it, you can understand a book of the Bible in a way that you probably would never come close to understanding if you did not use the method. Now, the method is primarily focused on observation, which we've talked about, and we've went through all of those principles. So here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be taking that comprehensive book Bible study method, and we're going to be utilizing that method basically step by step to study a book of the Bible. And what we're going to do is we're going to study one of the minor prophets. Now, one of the reasons we're doing this is because you know as well as I know that a lot of people know very little about the minor prophets. You know as well as I know that a lot of preaching from the minor prophets seems to ignore its actual content and its actual original purpose and somehow make it about us. So let's take a book that people probably don't know a lot about. Let's take a book that's often misused and mishandled, and let's then apply or utilize the most comprehensive book Bible study method there is out there. And when we're done, we can then determine, you can determine the success of what we are trying to do. All right. So here's what we're going to be doing. Now, I know we're about a week ahead of schedule. Now, we actually have another Bible study exercise to do this week, still going on with the theme about our neighbor and our neighbors. So you'll probably see at least a podcast episode or two where I weave some of that into everything. But we're going to go ahead and get a week's head start because this is going to require a lot of work. It may take much longer than the time allotted to us. Now, if anyone is new, please know there is curriculum. But if you have access to the curriculum, please do not look at it. Don't even get near it until a certain point. Whenever I think it's relevant, I'll come on and do a podcast episode where we look at the curriculum, or I will tell you, hey, go ahead and look at it right now. Because remember, the Bible study methods is about you studying the Bible first and foremost. Now, there are tools and different things we will be using, but we're going to try to be very disciplined on when to look and when not to look, all right? And you're going to get some good opportunities to start putting some tools into use almost immediately. But here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be studying the book of, does anybody know? The book of Amos. That is what we're going to be working on for a very long time. But we're going to work on the book of Amos in a very disciplined, a very systematic way, and we're going to be working on it together, right? So there's going to be a lot of the podcast episodes may take on kind of a different feel and a different structure. There's going to be a lot of just saying, okay, today we're going to do a little bit of work on step number 2 or step number 3. So, and I may just turn on the microphone and do just a little bit of that step live on the air. And then hopefully we'll see if we get a large number of people actually doing the Bible study method. There'll be a lot of episodes where so-and-so asked me this, or so-and-so is struggling with this, or so-and-so asked this question. What does everyone think? And then I'll turn the microphone back on in the next episode. Hey, a lot of people said this. So it's going to be a lot of back and forth and interaction if we get a lot of participation. What my fear is we're not going to get a lot of actual participation, because once people dive into the actual Bible study method, they're going to be like, nope, not going to do all of that, not going to do all of those steps. Now, what will be frustrating is those who don't want to do the steps, but will be the ones wanting to jump in and tell us, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. But they're not going to actually do the work. So I'm going to be very, very blunt here. It's going to take us a lot of work, because I'm going to be doing this Bible study method with everyone. This is going to take a lot of work. So if you're not engaged in the actual study, you're not actually going to participate in the steps, well, if you email me and you just want to argue about something in the book of Amos, I'm sorry. It's going to be like, if you're not going to participate in this study, then, because it's very frustrating to try to argue with someone who's like, look, I'm not going to do the work. I'm not going to do the study. I'm just going to read it and tell you you're wrong. It doesn't benefit anyone to have that back and forth. This is going to be, we're going to work through this in a very systematic, in-depth way. And that's what we're going to try to do. Now, if you have a question, even if you're not participating, by all means, ask the question. But if you want to just argue and you're not participating, well, then that just becomes, very, very frustrating. So hopefully that makes sense. So the book of Amos is where we're going to be for the next, I'm not even going to put an end date on this. We're going to try to get as many people across the finish line as possible. If we have to wait, if we have to back up, if we have to run backwards and help bring someone to the finish line, we're going to try to get everyone across the finish line together and doing the most comprehensive book Bible study method that you can find on the book of Amos. All right. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. So here is what you need to do. This is your job starting whenever you want. I don't know if you have time today, tomorrow, whenever. You need to start as soon as possible. Here we go. The first thing you need to do, obviously we've chosen the book of Amos, or I should say, I have chosen the book of Amos. You need to gather because you know what we're getting ready to do. The first step in this comprehensive Bible study method is the background method, right? We got to do a book background method. Remember, when I say turn to the book of Amos, view the book of Amos not as a book, but as a portal. And as soon as you start reading the book of Amos, guess what? You are stepping in to a different culture, a different time, different language, different everything. And so you need some background before you step into it. All right. So here's what you're going to do. All right. You need to start gathering all the tools you are going to use for the book background method. Gather and find the tools. I don't care if they're online. I don't care. Just start gathering the tools and making a list on paper of the tools you're going to use. You may want to make a list if you're going to abbreviate them. Write down the abbreviation and use that abbreviation throughout all of your notes. And the reason why is whenever we're working on the book background and you write down something that you found in one of the tools, you need to be able to abbreviate it and give the page number. So whenever you look back, you always know that's where I got that information. You'll have a source for your information. That's very, very important, because when we're doing a book background study, we have to use a lot of resources. We have to use a lot of tools. All right. Now, you know some of the basic tools you need. You need Bible dictionaries and Bible handbooks. Bible dictionaries. If you can find 3 dictionaries and 3 handbooks, that is great. If you can find 3 dictionaries, 1 encyclopedia, and 2 handbooks, that is great. But you need dictionaries, and you always want multiple ones, because sometimes you'll read one dictionary and you'll read another dictionary and you'll be like, why are they different in their opinions? Because that happens all the time in Bible study. So you need dictionaries. If you got an encyclopedia, wonderful. A Bible encyclopedia if you have one. Bible handbooks. Okay. If you don't have any of these tools, that's okay. That's okay. If you don't have any tools, you just keep listening. You use whatever you do have, and we're going to try to systematically take you and give you the information. You use what you have. If you don't have the tool, okay, let me know. You can email me, newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. If you can't find any tools at your local library, if you can't find the tools, you let us know, and we'll see what we can get sent to you as soon as we possibly can, for free. We'll see. If we have the money, we'll get you materials. We'll use them. That's because we want people actually studying the Bible, all right? So make a list of those tools and abbreviate them. Figure out what abbreviation you're going to give them, and then be ready to use them, okay? Are you ready? So we've chosen the book, Amos. We're going to gather and list our tools. We're going to gather and list our tools. Now, as soon as we come to Amos, you should know this if you're not, you're entering a section of the Bible that we often refer to as the minor prophets. So your very first step, your very first thing you're going to do, all right? So, when I say your very first thing you're going to do, obviously, I've already told you to list all of your reference tools. I guess we can call that a step. So we'll choose the book, gather your tools, list your tools. So we'll say the very next thing you're going to do. So step 1, choose the book. We've done it. Step 2, gather your tools. Step 3, list your tools. And now step 4, are you ready? It's not going to be anything with the book of Amos. What I want you to do is look in your dictionary. I want you to look in your encyclopedia. If you can look at a Bible handbook. If you look online, just find something that gives kind of an introductory overview to the minor prophets. And I want you to just kind of read whatever you find and just summarize some of the basic things you learned in regards to the minor prophets. Some of just basic information. This does not have to be detailed. I just want you to just kind of start familiarizing yourself. Okay, the minor prophets. Why are they called the minor prophets? How many are called the minor prophets? What's the basic purpose of the minor prophets? What is the literary style of the minor prophets? Is there any specific and special features of the minor prophets? Many Bible dictionaries will have its own entry on the minor prophets. Some Bible handbooks will say, it'll group all of the minor prophets together and give you an introduction. And some of your study Bibles, there will be an introduction to the minor prophets. Whatever you can find, just read it. I mean, this is nothing intensive here. This is simple. And just on paper, summarize, basic things you learned about the minor prophets. Should be very easy to assist you in this. If you download the YouVersion Bible app, and once you download the YouVersion Bible app, if you'll do a search for Theology Central, that's us, and you choose us to be your church, which is what everyone should do, okay? That's what you should do. If you choose us to be your church, I'm going here and finding us, you're going to notice that we have a featured Bible reading plan called God Addresses His People. Now, if you click on that, if you click on the featured plan and you say Start Plan, you'll notice, let's go with By Myself. I'm going to make it visible to everyone. You'll see that the very first day of this study there's a devotional. And if you click on the devotional, it says how to read the Bible prophets. It's going to give you somewhat of an overview of the prophets, including the major and what we call the major prophets and the minor prophets. The video was only about, 6 minutes, 5 minutes long. And you can use that as kind of you can just call it the BPV, the Bible Project video. All right. Now, I don't agree with everything about the Bible Project, and we've talked about that in other podcast episodes, but at least it will give you another, here's what they think you need to remember when you're getting ready to read the prophets or the minor prophets. Here's what they think are key features. The key here is we're not really challenging it. We're not really trying to test it per se. We're just here's what other people say is a key element of the minor prophets. These are key features to be looking out for. It's just kind of giving us an idea. Now, once we get into Amos, you may go, this doesn't really fit one thing they said. They said this is the key elements of the minor prophets. I don't see any of this. Or you may go, oh, wow, this is what everyone was talking about. All right. So if we go through our steps, choose the book. I did that for you. Gather your tools. Number 3, list your tools and abbreviate them. All right. Make sure you have a nice little key right there in your notes, right at the beginning. Here's all your tools and here's the abbreviations. And you can throw in those abbreviations anywhere in your notes at any time where you know the source of that information. Right. Very simple, very easy. Then I want you to just look up a basic overview of the minor prophets. And just summarize what you get. I mean, this is nothing that should be oh, I can't do this. Anyone can do it. And so many people out there, this is what drives me crazy. They don't want to write it down. They're like, I'll read it. I'll watch the video. What we read, what we see, what we hear, we retain so very little. But when what you watch, what you read, and you write it down, you retain more. In fact, I think it's just, I'm going to be dogmatic. If you read, watch, or listen, and you don't write, you're not engaging in study. You're engaging in listening. You're engaging in watching. Study, you got to activate that part of the brain where you have to think about what you're writing. And when you think about what you're writing, you retain it more. You process it more. Just something is happening. That's just from a purely human, fleshly perspective, not even talking about the spiritual benefits. But I think you can't reach the spiritual benefits until you're really engaged in the material. So we let's go through these again. Choose the book. I did that for you. Gather the tools, right? Whatever tool. And if you need tools, contact me, newsif@yahoo.com. I'll get you whatever I can. I'll do the best I can to get you what we can do for you. All right. All right. Make a list of those tools and abbreviate them. Number 4, look and find what you can about the minor prophets. You want an overview, some kind of summary about the minor prophets, and just write down basic lessons, basic concepts, basic things, whatever jumps out at you. It's not you copying word for word whatever you read. You're just kind of summarizing. Here's the basic things I need to remember about the minor prophets. Here's what's going to make it. You may find things that you're going to be like, whoa, that's going to make it difficult to interpret. Oh, that's going to make it exciting. Oh, whatever the case may be, just summarize. All right. Now you've got that. That's simple. That's straightforward. You go, and again, the YouVersion Bible app, find Theology Central, make us the ministry of choice, and then start that Bible reading plan. It's the featured plan. And then do the day one devotional, and then immediately you're going to get an overview, at least a summary. I already watched it, and I think it's at least beneficial. All right. Now, here's what you need to start out to do. This is very simple. The book of Amos. Don't start reading it. Don't look up an entry about it. Don't read anything about it. Don't do anything on the book of Amos except this. I want you, okay, before you do anything, I want you, after you've done those other things, I want you then to grab your Bible dictionary, Bible handbook. I guess go ahead and grab some other resource And here's what I want you to work on. I want you to work on answering the who, when, where, why, whom, and what questions for the book of Amos. I want you to answer questions like, who wrote the book? When was the book written? When does the events talked about in the book occur? Remember, sometimes the book is written way after the events occur. Sometimes the book is written before the events occur, right? In the sense that it's prophesying that this is going to happen, and the book takes up most of its time talking about what was going to happen, which happened later. Did it happen 10 years later, 20? Try to find the dating of the book and the dating of the events the book is talking about, all right? So, who wrote the book? Now, you're going to do this by looking up your resources, whatever resources, Book of Amos. And you want to look up multiple resources and to make sure you abbreviate who wrote the book according to this Bible dictionary, according to this study Bible, according to this Bible handbook. The author is boom. Now, sometimes there's massive disagreement. Sometimes nobody knows who wrote the book. When was the book written? Again, just the dating of the writing of the book. When does the events talked about in the book occur? And again, you'll have to understand the difference there. Was the book written at the same time the events were occurring? Was the book written after the events? What was the case? And this was a major issue in higher criticism, where they were always changing the dating of the writing of the book. No, the events occurred here, and the book was written after the events. And others would be like, no, the book was written prior to the events. And we could go back to that argument in the late 1800s, early 1900s, but we won't go through all of that. All right. So when was the book written? When does the events talked about in the book occur? Where was the book written? Where was the book written? Why was the book written? To whom was it written to? To whom was it written to? Who are the recipients? Who was it written to? Whom was it written to? However you want to use it. I'm just trying to give that that who, when, where, why, whom, what. I'm just trying to use that to draw a distinction. But who wrote the book? To whom was it written to? Right? When was the book written? When does the events occur? Where was the book written? Why was the book written? Now, again, please make sure you're looking at multiple sources, because you may have a study Bible going, well, the book was written for this purpose. And you'll have another study Bible or another commentary going, no, it was written for this. Just look up. And if there are multiple answers, like you've got multiple sources with multiple answers, write down each one. This Bible handbook says this. This Bible dictionary says this. What was going on when the book was written? Do you have anything that gives us like, at this time, this was going on. At this time, there was great political upheaval. At this time, 2 kings had been assassinated. At this time, there was great wealth and prosperity. At this time, there was a famine and a drought and people were starving to death. At this time, there was there was widespread idolatry. What was happening at the time? And what was going on at the time of the events in the book? Just what was going on at the time? What was happening? What was going on? What other events were occurring? Just anything that kind of gives you an idea of what was going on. I just want you to focus on the who, when, where, why, whom, what. Now you can rephrase those questions, but I want you to write down the question. Who wrote the book? Then the answer. Again, in your answer, if you find multiple answers, make sure in every place, write down the source and the page number. Just, you can use the abbreviation in the page number. Abbreviation page number. Okay? And then if you contact me about anything, say, well, according to this source and page number, this was an issue, because then that gives me a good starting point. All right? So let's go through these again. We've chosen the book of Amos. We're going to be using the comprehensive book Bible study method to work on the book of Amos. Gather all your tools. Make a list of your tools and abbreviate them. All right? I want you to find some basic overviews of over the minor prophets, and I want you to summarize that. One of the things you can do is go to the YouVersion Bible app, search for Theology Central, choose us, start the featured plan, Go to day 1, and there you go. You have a video to start giving you a basic overview. Pretty simple. I mean, we're just literally handing you the resources. We're just literally handing you all the resources. We're doing everything we can. All right? Then start answering the basic questions in regards to the book of Amos. Who, when, where, why, whom, what? I think it's the 6 vital questions they're sometimes referred to, that these are the 6 people, any good Bible student you carry. These 6 people are your companions. Your companion number 1 is who. Your companion number 2 is when. Your companion number 3 is where. Companion number 4 is why. Companion number 5 is whom. And companion number 6 is what. These are the people you want with you all the time. Whenever you're studying the Bible, you want to hear them going, who, when, where, what, who, why, what, when, where, how, who, what, where, when, why. And it may irritate you, but that is what makes a good Bible student, is you're always asking those questions. Who, when, where, why, whom, what? All right? And again, I've given you some to look for. You can modify your own. You can add some more questions that can be asked. But you just basically want this basic information about Amos. This is very simple. You can knock this out relatively fast. Who wrote the book? When was the book written? When does the events talked about occur? Where was the book written? Why was the book written? Whom was it written to? What was going on when it was written? What was going on at the time of the events in the book? And that's all you have to start doing. Now, I'll try to come in tomorrow and do some of this with you. I'm going to. So now please listen, even if you don't have the tools, that's okay. Just keep listening, because you're going to see what you're going to see take place live on the air day in and day out. Now, you're going to want to make sure you subscribe and you listen to every episode, but you're going to see day in and day out this blank, in a sense, notebook get slowly filled in as we start the comprehensive book Bible study method in action live on the air to the book of Amos. Now, I want to go ahead and give you the next step, but we're not. So, in review, I've chosen the book of Amos. You are thrilled about that. You may not think so, but you are. You are thrilled and you are excited about that, okay? Then, you need to gather your tools. That should be quick and simple. You need to make an abbreviation of each tool. That should be quick and easy. Then you just need to look up anything you have access to. The minor prophets, just start getting some basic information about who are the minor prophets, and just basic information about the minor prophets, and just summarize it on paper, listing the source from which you got the information. All right? Go to the YouVersion Bible app. Search for Theology Central. Choose us. Start the featured plan. Do the devotional for day 1. Watch the video. That's simple. Come on. That should be fun. Okay. That's not gonna take too much of you can knock that out. Okay. You can knock that out while you're making your coffee. Literally, there's no excuse not to at least do that. Then I want you to bring your 6 friends to the book of Amos and say, all right, guys, before I step into this portal, I need to know who wrote the book. When was the book written? When does the events occur? Where was the book written? Why was the book written? Whom was it written to? What was going on when it was written? What was going on at the time of the events in the book? Help me out. And they're like, okay, give us 5 minutes. All right, here you go. Here's who, when, what, where, when. Wow, we got it. And you're like, okay, wow, thank you. Now you're a little bit more prepared before we actually start working and reading the book of Amos. Now, I know at one point I said, before you do anything, before you look at any outside source, and then I told you to look at an outside source because the reason there was a little, if you saw that, you're like, wait, I think he messed up. Well, the reason I kind of messed up is because I was going to tell you to start reading the book, but then I changed my mind. Because part of me, like typically what I would say at this point, hey, right now, start reading Amos over and over and over and over and over and over. But I'm not doing that because we're going to do this the way I kind of taught the method. The book is a portal, and you can't enter the portal until you get the background information. Well, if you start reading it, you're already in the portal. So you've got to stop and do the background. So in this case, you're going to be looking at some resources before you. I always like to tell you, don't look at anything, start reading the book. But in this case, I'm changing it up. And I had to catch myself. I was like, before you look at anything else, okay, go ahead and look at something else. I don't know if you saw. Now that I'm thinking about it, that probably sounded completely foolish, but I caught myself in the middle of like, what am I doing? Why? Because I've taught these methods for so long that I remember like a current way, a typical way I do so, but this is all modified. We're modifying this because one, I'm trying to make this where it's much more user friendly, but the main thing is I have to modify this in a way that kind of fits with the way I taught the method, and it fits with doing this live on the air, because I don't think I've ever tried this comprehensive. I know I haven't. I've never tried to take this comprehensive book Bible study method and bring it over to, hey, let's just go live and do it live on the air. So this is going to be, put it this way, even if you don't care about any of it, just listening to it may be pure entertainment, because there's going to be some episodes. It's going to be a train wreck, but it should be a fun train wreck. But really, the goal is to help us actually, to get you, what do I always say? Off the couch, at a table, with a Bible, a notebook, a pencil, some reference tools, and you're digging into the scripture. You're actually participating. You can just sit there and listen to other people tell you about Amos, or you can actually dive in. So we want to motivate you to do that. All right, now, I know you're saying you didn't really conclude the Bible study on forgiveness. Well, 6 p.m. tonight, Victory Baptist Church. We're going to work to do just that. And you say, well, there's another Bible study on neighbors that we're supposed to be starting today. I know that. We'll weave that in somewhere. Maybe it shows up as a devotional message. Maybe it shows up as a Bible study exercise. I don't know where it's going to show up, but trust me, I'm not going to waste that information from the curriculum. I'll find some way to do something with it. So you're not going to get ripped off. You're not going to miss anything. I know some of you could care less, but I'm going to do my very best to make sure you get everything that we can offer to help you. Are you excited about the book of Amos? I hope so, because it's going to be a long study. It's going to require a lot of work. But I'm going to do everything I can to be not only doing each step with you, but in a sense, trying to do each step as much as possible right here, depending on how you phrase this, behind or in front of this microphone, with this microphone on, live on the air, going, okay, guys, let's start working on who wrote the book. And I may just grab all of my tools, scatter them all over this table, and I'll be like, okay, according to this source, according to this source. And so it should be entertaining and fun. I'm not going to be so much worried about the original idea was to really kind of like, I was going to get new intro music with this. We're going to begin the book of Amos. Maybe get a voiceover. You're about to begin the book. But then I'm like, no. I don't want it to come across all polished that way. I want us to just enter in, because it's going to be not to be all a production. It's to be us working together on figuring out the book of Amos to the best of our ability. So I think I kind of like the way I approached it. Maybe. There's a reason why. In other words, I'm always analyzing what's the best way to present it. And I think presenting it more as a production would not be consistent with the way these episodes are going to be put together. These episodes are going to be put together like, okay, guys, look, I don't know where you are, but man, I am stuck. I have no idea what to do here. I don't know. What did you find? Okay, this is what I found. It's going to be a lot of that. And I think that is that's the direction I want to go. I want to go that direction, where you hear the struggle and, well, hey, guys, last week I said this and that was completely wrong. I'm trying to take us through the steps, I think, is more real and more organic and will be more consistent with at least the vision I have in my mind of what we're trying to put forth. All right, Book of Amos. Choose the book. It's done for you. Gather your tools. I can't come to your house and do that for you, okay? I mean, I guess if I could fly to everyone's house and say, hey, where are your books? Here you go. All right, thank you. And then just go fly to another state. I think that's not very practical. Gather your tools. All right, list them on paper and abbreviate them, okay? That key, I want to see that key, all right? Then after you've done that, basic overview of the Minor Prophets. Download the YouVersion Bible app. Look for Theology Central. Choose the featured plan. Do devotional for day 1. Take you minutes. You can do all of that in minutes. All right. Then sit down with the book of Amos. And I know I told you before you look at any outside resources, but in this case, grab all those tools, grab all those outside resources and say, all right, and just, get 6 cups of coffee. For those of you who drink coffee while you're studying the Bible, I don't ever understand that. But okay, 6 cups of coffee and say, all right, who, you're up. Come on, who, tell me. Who wrote the book? Right? Okay, all right, you're done. Who, sit down. When was the book written? When does the events occur? Okay, where was the book written? Why was the book written? Whom was it written to? What was going on when the book was written? What was going on at the time of the events in the book? There you go. And then you write that on paper. And remember, make sure you're noting your source and page number, source and page number, source and page number. If you do not have an empty notebook, I would challenge you right now, get in your car, Home Depot, Walmart, I don't care where you go, get you a notebook. I want to see those notebooks. Just for the book of Amos. Everything else is to be left out. It needs to be an entire notebook dedicated to Amos, all right? There you go. I've got to get ready because I got to leave soon to go back to Victory Baptist Church. So then we can go live streaming again. We'll be live streaming at 6 p.m. Tune in on the Church One app, Church ONE. And, hopefully we get something accomplished tonight. All right. Thank you for listening. Everyone have a wonderful day. I hope you're prepared for this first week of study. I hope you're about to become well acquainted with the book of Amos. But most importantly, I hope you're excited to engage in a comprehensive study of a book of the Bible using a Bible study method that, if you learn it, could be very important in your spiritual life. Could be, can I dare say, could change your spiritual life. Could be a great source of great spiritual growth. Now, if you know anyone else out there like, man, I'm starving. I just really want to study. I want an in-depth study. Say, well, I know a podcast. They don't have to like me. They can hate me. They can say, that guy's a loser. That guy's a jerk. Okay, fine. But just use the method. All right, just use the method. All right, email me, newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. We'll be back at 6 p.m. Central Time. Thanks. God bless.